Okay, I'm getting everything set up right now. I mean, I'm trying something a little bit different again. I'm wanting to improve, as we all want to improve, making sure that these live streams, that you're really getting the best out of the live stream. So that's why I'm playing around with screens and playing around how I deliver it. So we love your feedback. If you can provide any feedback, that would be absolutely awesome. So today's a big day. Today we're going to be talking about mental health, right? And in a sense of in line with this month's topic, all around health. Okay, so as we know, the month of June, this month, we're leading up to our Manifest Your Health Challenge, which is starting next Monday. Woo! Next Monday, so the 26th. So if you don't know about the Manifesting Your Health Challenge, please reach out and ask us all about it. We've got 80 women at the moment sitting in our Manifesting Hub, all eagerly waiting for this month's Manifestation Challenge. And what a better challenge could it be, or what could be a better challenge, if I say it properly, than looking after your health. Yeah. So this is about, living true to yourself and making sure you're aware of all the things that are required for mind, body health. So mind, body health. So that's why this week, each week, I'm kind of going through different topics within health. And sometimes I think when we run these sort of challenges or we talk about this topic, immediately you may, or you may not, but you may sort of align it or associate it with health, as in, what you're eating or the exercise that you're doing. And that's not what this is about. The level of health that we go to, and in particular in the Manifestation Challenge, and the work that I very much do with all my clients, is around a deeper level than that. It's the mind-body connection, and it's making sure that we're looking at that importance of the connection and balancing it as much as possible. So if you come on live, awesome. If not, this will be available on YouTube as well. So let's get started. I'm going to flick us through this time. As often I don't do this, but I'm actually going to flick us to, and again, it would be great to get your feedback. I'm going to flick us over to the document, I think, so we can have a look at that together. So I'm just going to share the screen for a moment, and I'm sure that you can see this, and I might just present it into presentation mode, I think. So I'm hoping that's up and it's visible for everybody. If anyone comes online and they're like, no, I can't see the document, then you can let me know. However, let's start at the top. Yeah, I'm going to take you through 8 mental health tips that you can follow today. Okay, so this is pretty much, and really, I guess when I started to look at this more as well, we have this, sometimes we may have this perception of, mental health, and if we've got mental health issues. Well, mental health plays out in so many ways, and I'm hoping from this document and this discussion that you may look at it in a slightly different way. Let's have a little bit of look at some facts, because I know that some people like facts whenever they're looking at a topic. Now, it's estimated that 1 in 5 Australians experience mental illness in any given year. That's extraordinary, isn't it? Most of which will be mild, about 15%. Hello, Donna. Lovely to have you here. We're talking about mental health care today, okay? So, we're looking at this sort of statistical way at the start, so then we can get some facts behind it. So as I said before, 1.5 Australians experience mental illness. It's just huge. Most will be mild, about 15%, or an estimated 2.3 million Australians among the 15.3 million. So we look at it from a mild situation, or moderate, it's about 7%, all right? But at the end of the day, 1 in 5, we can, at some point, a lot of us will experience mental illness. And for most people, it's untreated, because we associated it with, just things playing out in a life, that maybe we're just not dealing with things at the moment. Maybe we're just not managing ourselves at the moment. Maybe our feelings are a little bit out of control. Maybe, it's the time of the month. Maybe it's whatever it is, yeah? But in fact, it's always a very good idea to dive a little bit deeper when we are unraveling, to just make sure that we don't need to care with ourselves and to ourselves at a deeper level. All right. So it's basically your mental health is comprised of social, physiological, and emotional states, right? So there's a psychological component of it, there's a social component of it, and there's an emotional state. All right. So these are the kind of areas where you may be affected from mental illness at any given time. It also, there's a variety in here, and it comes from many different reasons. It can be genetic. It be chemistry, an imbalance in the brain. It can be past life experience. Hello, Heather. Beautiful to see you. Well, see your name and see your profile picture. But I did catch up with you the other day, and it's awesome that you've come on live. So your mental health, as I said, it comes from many different factors, and it's important again to maybe explore this: genetics, chemical imbalance in the brain, past life experiences are huge, and family history. Okay, so with family history, there might be, that area of struggle with mental well-being, and that's been, from a young age, you've experienced that because you've seen it and you've been around it. Okay, so these sort of things affect us from our imprinting years, which are 0 to 7, all the way through into our adult life. So again, these factors, there's a variety of them, and it's good to know that. It's good to know that, to again start working out where you're being affected from it. Is it genetics? Is it a chemical imbalance in the brain? Is it from life experiences? Is it from family history? So really digging in there and finding out, and particularly if this is repeating in your life. So if you're going through these times of unraveling and these times of, negative looping and life in general, that's just not doesn't seem to go your way. And I've been there, believe me. It's good to really tap in and work out what's triggered it and where it's come from. All right. So it's probably step one is to really get that grasp of why it's affecting you. And then we move into why it's important. Well, your mental health is essential to your well-being. We know that. Yeah. It's really hard to function in a productive and positive way if we're dealing with mental health issues. All right. All good intentions you may have to change any given situation, change what's going on around you. But if you're not digging deeper in here and really understanding that it's being driven from somewhere where we have to really get in there and have a good look at mental health, if we're not going in there and finding out why it's surfacing and why it's playing out in our lives, it's just going to continually be there. And whatever we try and put in place, and we block it out and we move through it, and we don't look at it, we put it in the cupboard and we shut that door will get opened. Okay, that door will get opened, and it will play out slowly. Sometimes it'll hit you like a rock. It comes out in many, many different ways. So positive mental health, if we can change it from understanding why it's so important to move out of a negative mental health issue, is that if we move into mental health, positive mental health, this will boost so many things: your productivity, your attitude, your communication, your joy in life, your lifestyle. Everything will change once you have a positive mental health. All right. So positive mental health, from there, so much beautiful things are created. Big reasons why, and I think a good reason why this is a topic that we need to really look at. All right. Before it becomes something that we can't handle. All right. Thank you guys for acknowledging that. True, isn't it? Yeah. And it's just something that we can't ignore. We really can't. So how can you maintain, or how can I looked at it in my perspective, and now that's why I'm teaching it. How can you maintain mental health? All right. How can you maintain it? So I'm going to give you 8 tips today. There's many available, but I'm going to focus on 8 tips. And these are tips that I use in my own life. And as you probably know by now, I pretty much, talk what I walk. So if I'm teaching something in particular, or giving you tips and strategies, it's because I've experienced it and done it myself. All right. So number 1, take stock of your mental health. This is what we're talking about right here today. Okay. So first, identify what's causing you to believe your mental health is deteriorating. And again, that can be from a change of your state of mind, the way that you're thinking. And a really big indicator is the negative loop thought. Okay. So if you start moving and unable to get out of negative mindset and change it to positive, you are looping around and around, and your mental health is deteriorating. All right. And I don't mean to be dramatic when I say that, because we can improve upon it very quickly. All right. So your energy starts to decline. So if you've been in that state where you just always seem fucking tired, like you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like I wake up and I'm like, bugger this, and you're turning the alarm off, and all that negativity starts to creep in the morning, and it's following you through all day. So it's going to affect that energy of yours as well. Very hard to have vitality and energy when you're in a negative state. And then the habits will creep in. So if you see, your habits changing, the food's changing, you might start drinking a little bit more, all that stuff that we don't want to do because we know it's not good for us, they all start to creep in. All right. And there's no shame in here. There's absolutely no shame in here. This is not what this is about. This is simply about identifying what's causing it, because we need to understand where it's coming from in order for us to move past it or improve upon it. Okay. So please make sure that we're not looking at it through the eyes of shame, because it's got nothing to do with that. All right. And it's important to know that everyone does suffer from lows and highs. Everybody does. We might look at someone and they're all like, all that, those people that you're like, oh my God, could they be any more happier in this point? This is actually quite annoying, right? I probably guarantee you that there's moments of low in their life that just don't portray it and they don't show it. And that's their choice, right? But generally speaking, most of us will go through these will suffer through these lows and the highs. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to balance it a little bit more, and most importantly, be a lot more aware of it, and see the signs. Because once it starts deteriorating, we don't want to go to the end of that deterioration. We want to catch it and implement some of these strategies that I'm about to go through before it deteriorates too far. Does that make sense? Yeah. Number 2, avoid perfectionism. Really, really important. Okay. So mental health is not the same as mental perfection. I want you to hear that. Yeah. Mental health is not the same as mental perfection. The former is the ever-evolving experience of your thoughts, feelings, and physiology. The latter is impossible. We cannot, in my opinion, we cannot be perfect. It's why I love my area of expertise in being perfectly imperfect. All right. Because we just need to step out of this idea that we can reach perfectionism, if I can say that. It's not impossible. It's totally impossible. All right. And it's something in my regard that if you've come to that place where you think you're perfect, well, there's going to be disappointment somewhere, or you're really not accessing the higher level that you can go, because we're evolving creatures. Yeah. We're always able to grow and learn more. So perfectionism just doesn't fit within here. And it's one of the most dangerous mental health tips when it comes to creating those unpleasant emotions or those unpleasant opinions about yourself, because you're thinking that you have to be perfect. All right. And that's where inferiornism comes from. That's where bad relationships within yourself. You feel isolated because you're not like that person or those people, and you just keep going into that spiral, deteriorating mental health. All right. So there's no such thing, and really trying to avoid perfectionism. Number 3 is recognize your current state isn't permanent. Nothing's permanent. Nothing needs to be permanent. We've got the choice and we've got the ability. We're amazing people, amazing creatures. We've got the power to change our current state. All right. So one of the areas that I really love doing with my clients, and I support them so much in here, is reprogramming of the mind. Okay. So we have the ability to reprogram our mindset. So we can change our state. So if you can look at yourself in this moment when you feel as if you're in a, your negative mental health is there, it's deteriorating to a place, you're in this state of, loneliness or desperation in many ways, pain, lots of stuff going on, negative thinking, you can't get out of that. The moment that you really accept and understand and recognize and believe that your current state is not permanent. You will be able to get through that. It's just going to take a little bit of work. And by doing these practices and understanding more about your mental health, where it comes from and what triggers it, you'll learn ways of getting out of that state quicker and faster. All right. It just takes a little bit of a time to move through that. So think about your body. Your physical health is something you need to constantly tend to through eating nutritionally, exercising and regulating for signs of disease. Your mind is exactly the same. So that's why I refer everything to mind, body. Hello, Phoenix, my beautiful girl. I refer everything to mind-body connection, because the importance of your physical health, the importance of, what you eat is just as important as the health of your mind. Of the health of your mind. So we want to make sure that we're giving that as much love as importance as our physical body, our gut. Everything else going on is important. There's no doubt about it. But your mind is just as important to be healthy. Yeah. And here I am munching on Maltesers. I love that. Whenever I talk about when I might run master classes or I do these sort of things, and then lo and behold, generally if you come to them, there's going to be someone that is like, ah, shit. But you know what I love about that, Heather, that you actually told us. That's what I love about you. Yeah. So the best thing you can do for your mental well-being is to recognize that your current state is not permanent. That's where we need to go. Remember, we need to go there. When you're feeling depressed, anxious, or less interested in things you used to enjoy, give yourself a moment. Okay, give yourself a moment. A big for shit, hun. Right. So hopefully you might only get through half of that packet during this conversation and then go, ooh, I might just move that to the side. Yeah. Because they're all signs, right? They're all signs. Yeah. So when we're looking at that kind of that moment where you want to move your current state, or you want to change, that negative to a positive, or you want to improve on what's going on, we need to give ourselves permission. That's number one, right? You've got to give yourself permission. Then you've got to do practices or do things that enable you or strengthen you to then make the changes that you need to change. And I believe a lot of the breathing techniques is huge in here. Okay, so a lot of breath work is about activating different states of your mind, right? It changes your frequency, it changes your vibration, it changes your energy, it changes the way that you think. It enables you to visualize things and move past what's going on now. So this is where we can change that current state, because it's not permanent. So once we start the breath work and we start thinking about and learning about all the things that we can do and reintroduce them, like bring them in, recognize what you're not maybe doing that's kind of helping the situation at the moment. Great, you've recognized it. Now you're just gonna let that go. You're gonna let that go because you're giving yourself permission to change. And then you're going through some beautiful meditational work to start visualizing all the things, knowing the things that you actually enjoy, you love, and make you feel better, and change your state of mind, how you're going to reintroduce them, and what that's going to mean, and the result of that. So we're looking past the state that we're in now. Otherwise, we get very stuck in the moment. Okay, we find it hard to look past. So number 4, and I know I'm skimming over this. This is a huge topic, and I understand that. And I really do welcome any of you that want to come into a discussion about this with me. Please, reach out and make sure we get on a call and we talk through this, because I'd love to talk through it with you. Number 4, change your physical state, right? The connection between your mind and your body can't be overlooked. I've explained how important it is. Your thoughts determine your actions, but your physicality also affects your emotions. If you find yourself in a depressed or stressed state, take a moment to adjust your posture, stretch, go outside and take a walk, engage in something physical. So again, this is a massive area of expertise, and I love everything to do about what activity does to the body. And just touching on a couple of it, we know it changes the chemical in your hormones. Your chemical levels create happy hormones, not sad hormones. right? It gets adrenaline, there's cortisone in, there's cortisol, I should say. There's all these adrenaline, beautiful, wonderful, happy, uplifting chemicals that occur when you move your body and you become physical. So posture is a simple thing, right? If we're sitting in this kind of mode, right? If we're slouched over, because we're not feeling good, yeah? We get that, okay? So we're in that state and our body will play out in that, even the way we walk, even the way we dress, everything kind of turns into how we may be feeling up here, what the self-talk is. If we want to change the state, we change everything about that. Our posture, we make sure we lift ourselves up. We shake it off. I do like a shaking exercise with the women I work with. If they've got something hanging around that we want to get rid of, we just simply stand up and shake it all off, get rid of it. Yeah. Or, well, my favorite obviously is go out for a hike, go out for a walk, get healed by nature, right? Get out and do the things that you know physically are going to turn and change the chemicals going on in your body and take them from negative chemicals to happy, wonderful, positive chemicals. All right. So change your physical state, modify your diet, really, really big. And in here, a healthy nutrition diet, really to deal with some of those vital nutrients and minerals. Thanks, guys, for the thumbs up. Is like omega-3, vitamin D, and magnesium. There's plenty of other things that I could advise you on in here. And I'm brand partner for a health and wellness company. So hello, I've got plenty of details and advice on what you could do to change your diet or modify your diet to help your mental health. But these are just some of the main kind of ones. The minerals of omega-3, vitamin D, and magnesium can very much help in the assistance of moving you from this negative mental health into positive mental health. Okay, so it's about the diet and not looking at anyone, Heather, when we may be, in a place that we're not happy in, and we're feeling that heaviness and that frustration and anger and everything else that creates, a negative mental health. We then go for the foods and everything around us that really we know is not going to help. Okay, we're not going to help. We know it's not going to help, but we find it really hard with that when we're in that state. Okay, so just to be aware of some things that you can do to assist creating a stronger thought in here is often what goes in here. Okay, so what we eat is often how we act out. Number 6, fast to help your body reset. So again, sometimes it takes, I'm a little bit like this, it takes a real big, punch. Well, I shouldn't say punch in the head because that's probably not very nice. A slap in the face, that might be a little bit nicer. Sorry, my boxing days are coming back. A nice slap in the face to reset. And I am a little bit like that. Like it takes me, I have to go somewhere really kind of like shit to and then do something quite drastic to get me out of it. Right? It's just who I am. But I know that. All right. So sometimes when I'm going in this state and I'm in not a really good place and I'm deteriorating, I do something drastic like fast. All right. Now, it doesn't have to be that you starve yourself to death for a week. The 16-8 method is one that I pretty much advise a lot of people. It's very manageable, but it works. Okay. And it can totally reset your body and your mind. All right, because it's kind of detoxifying everything. Okay, so think about that to reset the body, reset through a fast. Number 7, find activities you're passionate about that boost your mental health. Go back and work out the things that you love. Okay, and I only had this conversation with one of my clients yesterday that's going through a bit of a bad way at the moment, and we spoke about what are the things right now that we can do to surround you in being happy, right? In feeling, even if we can't get you feeling happy at the moment, feeling not as unhappy. All right. So tiny little things, the music you're listening to, the candles or the oils, your diffusers that you've got at the moment. This is all priming. This is all about priming. Yeah. The practice work that you're doing, as in, are you doing some journaling? If you love writing, are you writing? Are you doing some gratitude work? Are you Are you going for a walk 2 times a day, not once a day, because that's something that you love, but not walking around an area that you don't like? Are you taking the time to drive somewhere just so then you can be somewhere that you love? I know, Heather, I spoke to you and you miss the hills, right? So if you're not in a good way, maybe you need to get in the car one day and you actually need to drive to the Dandenong Ranges or wherever it is and spend a day there. Right? Spend a day there, because walking around the local area that you live in might not be enough. All right. So let's find the activities that you're passionate about and you know is going to improve upon how you feel. And as many of those things that you can do when you're in this state, the better. Okay. You have to be quite selfish at this stage to be selfless. Okay. Number 8 is socialize. I know that it's hard to, and look, I'm an introvert. So I have a tendency to then, like a cave, go into my cave and not come out for a period of time. Well, maybe there's a part of that during this time that you may need to, but it doesn't need to be all the time. It would be great if you could recognize the importance of connecting and asking for support and being around people that are positive and light and fun and that are going to enable you to change from where you are now, to change your state and move into a more positive way of thinking. All right. So socialize to where you're comfortable. So that is the 8 tips, mental tips that you can do. Now, like I said to you before, this is a massive topic. But it's a very important topic. And again, I've introduced this. I don't talk in this space that much because I think a lot of the time we talk about the obvious, the healthy habits and being your food and what you do physically and, good positive mindset. They're all important, but I'm talking about that next level. And when we find ourselves, deteriorating past what we think we've got the ability to move into a better way of thinking or acting or behaving, we've probably got to the level where maybe this sort of document might help you, or reaching out and talking to someone might help you. And there's no shame in it. And it may not have to be a doctor or a psychologist or a counselor. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. It could be just you doing some of these tips, starting to do some of these strategies where you can start to learn how the signs and then learn how to move through this more effectively as you go along. All right. So my name is Kate, as I said at the start, and I am the Courageous Inspirer Coach. And if you're interested in learning more about what I do in my signature systems, there are 3 masterminds that I offer, and they're all sensational. You need just to reach out, okay? Reach out. I'll always put, after these lives, I'll put my booking link in there. We have a chat. We talk about where you're at, where you'd like to be, and whether or not we align. That's as simple as that. We do have an offer out this month, don't forget. So take up on that. It's coming out tomorrow, just heads up. And that's via an email, and we might even chuck it out on a post. I am offering a 40-minute free coaching session, which is normally $197 US. So that's being offered for us to get onto a call, for me to really, give you my time for a full coaching session. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that's what I did in my 40s, and it completely changed my life. It completely changed my life. So if I could do that just for one person, that would make my day. All right. So awesome to have you on board. This will be dropped in and saved into the Facebook group, but we'll also be putting it onto the YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe for my YouTube channel, because we're going to be adding episodes every week. All right. Lovely to have you. Have an awesome day. Thank you to the guys that jumped on, Donna, Heather, and Fanique. And I'll speak to you soon.